G'day folks, welcome to this playthrough of Not War But Murder. This is a magazine game by Michael Rinella from Against the Odds. The 2007, March 2007, was it volume 5, number 3, I think, of the magazine from 2007. So Michael Rinella did a few of these area movement games. This is his area movement game on the Overland campaign, Cold Harbour, from May, June 1864. It is quite broad in scale. You have divisions, for the most part, represented by various counters. You've got cavalry, infantry, and artillery. You have leaders, and leaders are used to activate, I should say core leaders are used to activate sort of a stack of units from that core, divisions from that core. There are entrenchments, and these are really easy. They add to the defender's defense rating or defense total. There's terrain effects, so +3. So in this case, you have +3 for the terrain, +2 for the entrenchments, and then various factors added up. In fact, you add the lead defense unit, in this case, let's say 4, and basically you add 1 for every unit in the hex if you're defending. So yeah, area movement. It is a big map. The Union is trying to capture Richmond, of course, which is way down in the bottom left-hand corner down here. Now, because of the historical setup, naturally you'd kind of expect them to shift out to the east and somehow find their way across the river. How they do that, precisely where they cross, and what pressure they place on the Confederate forces around Hanover Junction is really up to you. I haven't played this. This has been my first playthrough, but let me point out that Marco Omnigamer did a great review of this a couple of years ago, and Tim from Bad Bones Wall Gaming did a great series of videos which I've watched through, and he sort of discussed his opening moves. He's played it a few times, and it was good to watch him and sort of run through his thinking on how he did things. So I've kind of learned a little bit from both of those videos, both those YouTubers. Check them out if you get time. And rather than repeating sort of what they've done, I'm just going to jump into it and kind of see how things go. See how this unfolds. Critical for my turn, for my sort of run through, is the fact that Lee is sick on the first turn. So you can always see I've made the die roll, and he is inactive on this first turn. So he won't appear until the 28th of May. He provides all Confederate battles with a +1 offensive modifier or a +1 defensive modifier. He's of course their army leader, so his absence means that the Confederates won't get their the ability to activate their entire army. So first turn, the Union is certainly at an advantage here. Now, I'm just going to keep shifting the camera around so I can kind of be in a position to move these forces. This is going to be my area of activity at the start as I kind of enact my plan. It's the zero impulse. The Unions get the first activation, and I've been thinking a lot about this. There's a lot of options available. You can sort of, I could activate, for example, Grant as the army commander, and he can activate Corps to attack an area. I could just drive straight into Hanover Junction or Oxford. I could cross. I believe I can cross the Little River here, and move into what's called the South Anna area. This cavalry would have the option to then retreat, and I think I would have to stop there. So it would give me sort of an advantage in this area. What I really want to do, though, is move out to the east here and look for a crossing down at Hanover Town or Norman's Ford, Hanover Courthouse. The red areas show victory objectives, so this is worth V1, worth 1 victory point. By the end of, I think it's 8 turns. Yeah, 8 turns. At the end of 8 turns, the Union is trying to either capture Richmond or achieve 10 victory points. So there's one here, there's one here, for example. I'm also, I mean, whilst trying to drive towards Richmond, I want to slow down and try and, well, destroy Confederate forces, but also try to disrupt their retreat. Now, one of the rules in the game is that whenever you're, I mean, basically, if I were to activate this force here, they would sort of move, these cavalry forces here, I'll show you, have movement of 7. So they can kind of go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so forth. Whenever they move adjacent to enemy artillery, such as here in early Second Corps, if they were to move adjacent to early Second Corps, and I think technically this is adjacent, they have to pay 2 movement points to enter this space. That'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's using a Union cavalry division as an example. Division or brigade? Unit, I'll say. But it works the other way around as well. Now, a lot of the Confederate forces are in here, and they have to move through Taylorsville here. So what I'm thinking, straight off the bat, is if I can get some Union artillery into Bethel Church, it will really slow down these Confederate forces as they retreat through Hanover Junction and Taylorsville, even Wickham's crossing space. It's going to be 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 for each of those movements. So this is one of the very first things I want to do as the Union, is to get some artillery into Bethel Church, just to slow everything down for the Confederates. The question then is, what artillery do I move in? I could, and in Tim's video, he evacuated Lowry, and I think he brought his forces around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I could do that. I could bring Burnside's call around, slightly smaller. I could even 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, they won't be able to make it. And then there's a cavalry here, and I believe, yeah, they've got cavalry artillery as well with them. So 3 sort of key choices to make here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with Burnside. I'm going to keep Hancock in just in this area for now, and wait and see what the Confederates do, how they respond. So yeah. I'm also mindful, just thinking as well as I'm doing this, that, I mean, forces can cross rivers, and I'm worried about Burnside's relatively small force. Well, look, if the Confederates do want to cross the North Anna River and attack me, that could be a good thing. If I can bait the Confederates into an attack, that's going to disrupt their defences and disrupt their retreat to the south. I could activate Grant. So if I activate Grant, he's my army leader, he can activate all units in a space, not just a single corps. So he could, for example, activate Hancock and Potter's division here. Yeah, I'll activate Hancock. I'm a bit worried about leaving Burnside alone like that. So I'll spend Grant. Well, I don't actually spend him yet. I use Grant to activate all the forces in this space, and it's both Hancock and Potter. So Hancock, technically you move units one at a time, so I basically go, well, I can actually, sorry, there's also a, just reminded as well, there's a movement limit to these bridges. 5 units can move across a bridge in a turn, not including leaders. So I can go 1, 2, 3, because it's adjacent to artillery, 4, 5 into Bethel Church. Now, there are these rules about point units, and I'll just mark Union control those areas. The first friendly unit to enter a space is known as the point unit. It mainly matters for combat, I'm reading through all these rules about point units and trying to figure out what do these point units do, and finally get to the combat rules. It says, well, the point unit is the main unit that you use to calculate your attacking factor. So in this case, it'd be, for example, 5. So there's my artillery, which I'm just keeping separate. It's part of that corps, Hancock's second corps, but just keeping it separate to note that they're there. Now they've crossed over here. Potter. Now hold on a sec. Yeah, I was just double checking the road and rail movement, but that's fine, I think. And this division will join with Burnside up here. So Tim mentions it in his video, but you can move these units in effect multiple times, provided they don't become exhausted. Their leaders become exhausted. So Grant is exhausted because he's activated the entire army. Maybe that was a waste, and Hancock is exhausted because he was activated by Grant. And that's the end of the first Union impulse. Now, technically, at the end of each, or the first roll that occurs during a Union turn, or if there is no roll, you make a roll, determines whether it's the end of the day or not. If you roll equal to or less than the impulse number, the day ends. Well, it's the 0 impulse, so that's definitely not going to happen. And we head to the the first impulse, which is then, I believe, the Confederate impulse. And I think it basically goes back and forth like that. So now we have a Confederate impulse, and we need to think about what they want to do. Well, they've got Hampton's cavalry down here. I mean, they always need to keep that in mind. They can move out of the Hanover Courthouse area. They can cross the river. But I might keep them just in reserve for now. I could move up into the Lowry and really put pressure on the Union. Gee, that would really... this is tempting. So they've vacated this area. They've given the Confederates Lowry. But if they move up into there, it's not really what... they're not really... There's this tension between, the Union's going to be attacking. They're going to be driving south towards Richmond. The Confederates are on the defence. They have fewer reinforcements, replacements. They're on the back foot. Do they really want to be moving forward, moving north at all? Or is it just get the heck out of there? And you know what? I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to start with just Anderson's Corps. And artillery, okay, so like I said, this is going to be slow because of this artillery here. So it's now 1-2. Let me just double check the rules on that artillery, make sure I've got it right. So yep, if you enter a vacant area adjacent to a fresh enemy artillery. So yeah, 2 movement points. So these guys now 1, 2, 3, 4, and they can't move into Wickham's Crossing because they've only got 5 movement points. They could move into Ellet's Crossing. Doesn't really help them though. I guess on the plus side, they do have some artillery, so it'll slow down any Union forces moving through here just a little bit more, but yeah, not by much. And Anderson is spent. All right, second impulse, back to the Union forces. All right, so now that I think I'm doing a good job here in tying down these Confederates in this area, my next trick is, how far can I get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with Burnside. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down here, and he is spent. That's nice, getting a whole corps down to, yeah, not far from Hanovertown on the first turn. Yep, leaving those guys behind. All right, we make a sunset roll. Oh, geez, very close to ending the day on only the second impulse. All right, third impulse, Confederates. So now it's looking a bit dangerous. Confederates moving, the Union moving quite rapidly down to the southeast, and so it's again this tension. Do I grab Hill's core and just rush to the south, giving up Oxford? +5 defensive terrain, plus a decent core here. An area that does not use an active leader. Activate 1 unit in the active area. So I'll take these guys here. So I can activate 1 unit in the area, and they'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, they can't go there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, because this is again bordering on the Union artillery. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I guess I'll just stop there. These markers are reminders of the areas that can be captured or held for certain reinforcement bonuses, and then you can see the DO in the right. That's where the Union reinforcements potentially arrive. Potentially on the 31st of May. You need to make a die roll for those to see if they come on that turn or later. All right, that's the end of the third impulse. Shifting the marker up to the fourth. And some more Union movement. What now? Okay, gotta get the cavalry down here, right? So these guys have movements of 7. 7, 7, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to split the force here. So 5, 6, because there's artillery there, and they have to stop there. But these guys will go 5, 6. Let me just double check I've done that right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they could they could go one more space, but they're already looking a bit vulnerable here. Oh look, I could go to grab a victory point straight away. But look, I think holding these bridge and ferry crossings here is pretty important. If I can just hold on to Hanovertown there and wait till the next turn. So Sheridan's cavalry is done. Well, Sheridan's done at least. He's activated his unit. But again, I think I can activate this cavalry again if I wanted to. I think. And the rule says an area that does not use an active leader marker may activate any 1 unit in the active area. I guess that means you can activate sort of individual units one at a time. It's using an impulse, but yeah, potentially I could use that cavalry again if I wanted. I think it seems strange, but yeah. And the same with, I guess, Burnsides. I could use his infantry to kind of go 1, 2. Yeah. All right, that's the end of the Union impulse. We roll. It's a 6, so we continue. Impulse 5. Now what are the Confederates going to do? Okay, well. Well. I think given the threat to these positions and the fact that they've already crossed the river, I don't think we can continue to hold Oxford up here. I think Hill is going to have to pull back. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So 5. So again, it's really expensive. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he has to stop there. And he's spent. Okay, so as we head into the 6th Union turn, if the Confederates are going to abandon Oxford, most certainly we're going to move in. Yeah, with Wright's Corps. We'll just capture that. That converts level 2 trenches. When you capture enemy trenches, it converts a level 2 into a friendly level 1. And Union control. And we'll stop there, do a sunset roll, and that's the end of the day. So at the end of the day, we move the impulse or advantage marker back down to the 0 space. The Confederate player then will spend his replacement points and build entrenchments. So let me skip to the night phase. Okay. So exhausted artillery flips. Exhausted infantry. There's no exhausted infantry, no exhausted cavalry, no exhausted artillery. The player can perform a single, I believe, night entrenchment. Place an entrench +1 marker in any area containing a friendly infantry unit. Okay. Okay. Well, let's reinforce this area here. Might be a good place to make a stand. On that? Yep. Yeah, we'll do that. And then the Confederate player receives 1 replacement point. 1. And there are no replacements to be made yet. The Union player can build entrenchments. Let's entrench our holding in Hanover Town. We've got an infantry unit. Oh, it's cavalry. It's not infantry. Let's just really secure Oxford. We can convert a 2 into a 1, and the Union gets 3 replacement points. No reinforcements, so we move to the next turn, and Lee may make a return. We start with the Dawn phase, which I'll do. Take a quick break and return to soon. Okay, so the 28th of May begins with the Dawn phase. We flip any inactive leaders back over to their active side. Okay, and reinforcements are on. Now we make Lee's health die roll. Union player makes a die roll to determine if he's sick or healthy. On a 1 to 4, he is healthy. Now the Union has the advantage, and they can use their advantage marker here to make him sick. But I don't think it's really critical at this stage. They're not really wanting to attack. The Confederates aren't really in a position to attack, so I don't think they really mind if Lee is healthy at this stage. So he returns to the map. Yeah, any Confederate control area. Now the daylight phase, the Union player has the first impulse. Thereafter, the Confederate player always performs the first impulse. Okay, so impulse number 1, Confederate player first. And yeah, they need to kind of move around here because there's a big open gap down the bottom right here where Ninth Corps can just move straight across the bridge. So I'm going to start with Hill's 3rd Corps. Yep. Keeping the corps together. Moving. Now it's 2 moving here because it's next to artillery, so it'll be 2 and then 3, 4. I must move this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The alternative is to move my cavalry and try and get around. Is there any artillery here? Cavalry, artillery, yes. That's going to slow movement through here. It's an interesting rule, this whole cavalry doubles the cost of movement. What could they do? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, down to Mackenzie's corner, maybe 5. I think they're going to have to. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. I'll send the whole core down there. I could split up the core. Yeah, it might be worth just sending Heath's division up there. Yeah, very interesting. First playthrough, not sure if this is a good move or not, but yeah, not wasting any time. Now, Burnside is going to try to get down here. Okay. So we can get 1, 2, 3. Oh wow, that can go a long way. 4. I'd have to stop there because of the artillery. So they can come all the way off the map, all the way down, sort of off camera, not the map, but off camera, way down the south here. It's getting hard to cover the whole battlefield. One, 2, 3, capture that. 4, 5, because it's next to artillery. Yeah, okay. 1, 2, 3. Leave behind something. 4, 5. Okay, so victory point location secured. And they're within marching distance of Richmond. Geez, it feels weird. It just, I don't know. Is this normal? Sunset die roll. Snake Eyes would end the turn, it doesn't. So back to the Confederate turn. And geez, I'm really worried now. What do I do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I can get Anderson's core. This isn't great, but they can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down to Atlee Station. I might leave Pickett, bring... I really don't know what to do here. Yeah, bring Lee with us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Leaving Pickett behind. There's a bit of a garrison in Taylorsville. But I guess, yeah, as the Confederates, I'm really anxious about what's going on, because I did not expect the Union to be down here so quickly. There's Richmond. So, and there is a garrison there, of course, which will stop these divisions from waltzing straight in. But they can move into Mechanicsville. Sorry, Anderson has moved. Lee can move. My understanding is, leaders can move without activating. It doesn't really matter with the army leaders. They can basically be anywhere, I think. Yeah. So, Union turn. And options. Oh, actually, there's artillery there, so that'll be double to move in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anderson has to go there. And he can't move in there because of the artillery, which doubles the cost of moving into there. And he can't move straight from there because of his artillery, which has to use the road. Whew. Okay. Now we can follow up. As I said, Burnside is done. He's inactive. I can activate a single unit here if I want. I can start thinking about bringing some more forces down because there's still a lot of Union forces way up in the north up there. At present, it's just Burnside's core south of the Pamunkey River. Hanover Junction is starting to look more vulnerable. What I'm going to do is move right, activate right, and advance his corps into South Hanover. It's just off camera up here. Now, there is the Hampton Cavalry here. They are not going to want to stand and fight. It's not a good defensive position, but I can do the cavalry, what's it called, repulse? Screening, sorry. Occupied by friendly cavalry units, and there are no cavalry units in the enemy force. Not cavalry, that's artillery. Artillery actually can't cross that river, but they can go elsewhere. So I'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, because there's artillery across the river here, and then 5. Actually, no, 11 there. Yeah, 4. So these guys here. Same retreat. Once movement is complete, it must adhere to normal retreat priorities. They don't become exhausted, so they can simply retreat back to Ellet's Crossing. So by being here, Wright can now threaten Taylorsville. So Early has to make a move now. The daylight roll is still ongoing. So we now get to the Confederates, and Early can't hang around here, so he'll activate his entire corps. And actually, that's not his. It's an independent, which can move with the corps. And they're going 1, 2. One, 2, 3, 3, 4. Yeah, that's it. Early's done. And there is artillery there. Oh, okay. End of the Confederate turn. Back to the Union. And all right, let's fight. Warren will take his call, move into Hanover Junction turn that into some Union trenches, which probably won't matter, and then we'll attack in Taylorsville. So we'll have the first combat. We have Pickett's division and quite a strong Union force isolating them. So we now have an actual assault, and that infantry there can't retreat. So we basically, with combat, you work out an attack value and a defense value, and you combine the two. We'll do Union first as the attacker. We pick their point unit, which is going to be their strongest unit. Let's say Lockwood leading the way. So the video cut out during combat, but basically the Union won combat by 1 point. So the defender then had to satisfy 1 CP worth of losses, which basically meant they flipped Pickett's division. We then had the Sunset die roll, which is a 5, less than the impulse rating, so that's the end of the day. At the end of the day, we flip artillery back to its healthy side. The Confederates use their 1 replacement point to flip Pickett. The Union gets 3, they'll spend 1 there, and they will save 2 more up. And I think that's it. Reinforcements, none this turn. So we advance to the 29th of May. Now, because the Union controls Hanover Town at the beginning of a dawn phase, the Confederate player makes a die roll, and on a 1 or a 2, Hope's division can be placed. Where is that? It's over here. In the Richmond area, 50 with the garrison. And it's only made once per game. Yep, okay, that's good. Good timing for the Rebs. Alright, that's pretty much the night phase done. Sorry, the dawn phase done. And we can move into the Lee health roll. He's sick again. And Union has his advantage. So he's going to be sick when I move him. Here he is. This could be good timing for the Union because they're about to, well, he won't be appearing until next turn, 30th of May. They're about to, I think, commence a series of attacks, so yeah, could be good timing. Very little cavalry action. These guys haven't done much at all. Okay, first impulse is the Confederate. And what are they going to do? They have to somehow block this advance. So, we should also flip all these guys back. So I'll do that first. Okay, still got Grant way up there, hasn't been used yet. Okay, got to get Hill or Anderson first. Having come this side of the Chickahominy River, got to kind of go back up or around somehow. 1, 2, we can come into Richmond and then back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just to get here. Ugh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we're moving into Mechanicsville. It's not ideal, but yeah, that has to be done. All right, Union move. Burnside could move straight across into Atlee Station. They could, do a few other things. I'd really like to get some more troops around here. So Hancock is going to activate his corps. He's going to go 1, 2, 3. 4, 5. I think that's all okay. They've all got movement of 5. They all followed the roads. They're all crossing those bridges safely, I think. 1, 2, because of the artillery here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No adjacent enemy artillery. So that seems to be legal. Snake Eyes. Nope. Okay. The Confederates. And I'm going to move... got to move something in here. Absolutely have to. Going to move fear. Just the one activation. 1, 2, 3... I can't even make it. Alright, well then we'll move Mahone over as a single activation, just to hold it. And we'll keep Hill at Mackenzie's corner. That's not a big move, but I've just got to block this to stop Burnside getting across. He does have the potential to just cut that road. Why didn't he do it earlier? Because he's be pretty isolated if he moved in there. He's only got 1 division and 1 artillery. Alright, Union turn. We've got Wilcox here. Do we now reinforce Burnside, rejoin the corps, or 1, 2... So 1, 2, 3, 4, that'd be nice. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into New Cold Harbour, and 2 more Union areas under control. A V1 and another V1. Moving up to 3 victory points. Okay, sunset die roll is a 3. That's the end of the day. These are short days. Okay. Very short days. Jeez. 2 impulses each. So, return the marker to 0. Confederates get 1 replacement, which they can't use. So, a lot of manoeuvre thus far, not much fighting. Units 3. 1, 2, 3. No reinforcements, no replacements, or start the next day. Now the 30th of May. Leaders are flipped back over. Not many of them because I did 2 independent moves. Yeah, let's roll to see if Lee is sick. He is healthy. Union forces are a bit scattered. I'm just wondering if sort of it's kind of approaching time for an attack. The Union has held the advantage throughout this whole period, and they'll keep it for now. Okay. Alright, so I've just changed the camera angle, try and fit everything in, because it's yeah, I mean, Union forces all the way down here, and then you've still got Grant all the way up in the far, far north. He hasn't moved from, north of the North Anna River. Okay, so back onto the first impulse, we're up to the 30th of May. And okay, got to stop this Union advance, and well, just as an immediate sort of stopgap, going to bring Hoke out there. Simple activation, but yeah, this is 2 victory points here, 4 defense rating. It's pretty good, so we'll do that. Moving to the Union turn now, And okay, so they need to bring some forces south. At the same time, Confederates are still pretty weak in this area. He's got 4 divisions, including artillery. And Hill only has pretty much the 2. No entrenchments, 2 defense sectors. Yeah, we're going to do it. So he's going to activate a point unit. There we go, given 1, 2, 3, 4 to go in there, and he'll be joined by the rest of the corps. Combat takes place. We've got 5. Double check the assault value modifiers. Yeah, +2. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11 plus 6 is 17 again. 17. The defenders have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for Lee, plus 6. Yep. Is 15. So there's a +2 to the attacker. So the point unit and any participating artillery are exhausted. And the defender must absorb 2 CP. Now they can just absorb both of those and not have to retreat or eliminate anything. So it's 1, 2. Yeah, they're going to do that. And it's not the end of the day. So here's the third impulse. Confederates. Things are... They just don't have many forces. Okay. Richmond Garrison can move out to Fair Oaks as well. Or 7 Pines might be good. 1, 2, yeah. So they'll move out to hold 7 Pines. Small activation, but it's really just a wait and see what the Union does. And sorry, Hancock should be activated. All right. Now back to the Union, and their corps up here are a bit dispersed. So the rest is 6th Corps. Here's your 5th Corps guys here. 6th Corps artillery, and Russell's all out here. And then you're going to move down across the river. So 1, and the cavalry is +1 defense factor. They'll pull back to Ashland. And if they do pull back, the enemy point unit does not become exhausted. Of course, they need to do this point unit at a time. So first, and he doesn't become exhausted. He can keep moving, but then that kind of exposes his flank. If he moves in 1 more space, though, yeah, let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cavalry now to either stand and fight or screen again. It's another victory objective. They will screen again because these guys can't move any further. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 because of the adjacent artillery. So we've got to stop there. Actually, no, they could move 1 more space. 5 into here or 5 into here. But they might just hold there. I've captured a victory point, and the rest of the corps follow up. And right is spent, and the day continues. Alright, so now we've got early in the centre here with this big corps. Pickett's division now kind of exposed by himself up there. I would like to move field further south. So, yeah, let me just double check the, because I haven't done many army leader activations. You can activate all or some of the units and leaders in an active area. So I'm going to spend Lee to activate all the units here. We're going to field come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then early is going to sort of hold his position, but we've got independent Brockenborough. Sorry, Breckenridge, not Brockenborough, Breckenridge. Just into Merry Oaks to hold that. See what happens. I'm not overly happy with that, but stops them cutting off early. Maybe early should move as well. Anyway, Union activation, and Warren wants to clear out the area north of the, or between the north and the south, and a river in here. So he's going to activate, and he'll engage in combat. With Lockwood is the lead unit, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 plus 10 is 22. Versus Pickett's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for Lee, plus 7 is 16, so it's a difference of 6. They have to be eliminated basically because that's the only way to satisfy the 6 CP. So the lead unit and artillery become exhausted. Now, what happens? If the assault was a success and there are no enemy units left, the result is a rout. The point unit and attacking artillery are exhausted. The friendly leader marker does not become inactive and is eligible to activate again. Excellent. Okay, so Warren is still active. We'll make a daylight check. We're good. So we move to Confederate Impulse 7. And I really don't know what they want to do. They can't, not in a position to counterattack anywhere. Oh, entrench, of course. So, entrench at Lee Station. I haven't been placing these Union control markers everywhere either. So all these places are Union controlled. So yeah, Confederate entrenching, Union Impulse 8, and Warren. Some Crittenden division up here. Russell way up here. Gotta get Russell moving. Come on. All right. Activate Russell. He needs to get down to right. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop there. We can't go any further because of the fresh artillery here. And yep, it's the end of the day. So the night phase, return the impulse marker to 0. Confederates. Okay, so first of all, the Confederates can entrench one area, and yeah, we've got to entrench within this crossing. It's going to be important, I think. Slowing the bulk of his army moving down from the south. We refresh the artillery for free, and I'll spend one replacement to move Wilcox back up to full strength, which is their one replacement point for the day. The Union now get their artillery fresh as well, and they'll spend 2 of their 3, and that's all, so they accumulate 1 additional replacement points. They've got a ton. I think they really need to start pushing a bit harder. Yeah, they've really spread the Confederates out, but well, time's ticking. Okay, what else we got? The Union can also entrench as well, so they can build 1 entrenchment. And I'll do that down in Cold Harbour. And we move now to the 31st of May. Okay, so at the end of this day, I think, let me check the Union sort of reinforcement schedule. Yep, so in the dawn phase, we roll a die. On a 3, the 18th Corps can be placed in Area 15 or 34. So 15 or 34, that's good. Yeah, good. And they came on early as well. Okay, and we roll for Lee's health. It's a 3, so he's healthy on the map. All leaders are flipped to their active side. And we can get going with Impulse 1 with the Confederates going first. Okay, well. I've still got this cavalry which hasn't moved from Hanover Courthouse. Got a new corps out here on the right. I've got right out here on the left. I've got Burnside's corps down here near Cold Harbour. What's the biggest threat? I'd probably say this corps, but who knows where they can go. They can go far to the south, so maybe it's time to really pull early right back, or get Fitzlee out of there maybe. So if I pull Fitzlee's cavalry back, it opens up Hanover Courthouse for Sheridan, who's just been sort of sitting there. They're kind of holding each other in position there. I'm just thinking, can I send the cavalry up north? But there's artillery there. They could destroy that artillery. Go on a bit of a raid, but then they'd be kind of really isolated, and they'd open this big gap at the courthouse. This is the thing. It's tempting as the Confederates to counter, push through a gap here. They could go boom, boom, easily destroy that artillery, I think. But then they've opened up this Hanover Courthouse, Peak Station, potentially a route to Merry Oaks, and then they've cut off Early's corps. And they're not strong. I mean, cavalry only have a strength of 2. Okay, but what if I attack right over here on the left? He's in a weaker position, +1 defence, no entrenchments. If I can leave behind Ramseur's division and move early in there. Okay, so we have got Gordon as our lead unit with a strength of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lee's on the board for 11, plus 8 is 19. The Confederate attack value, 19. These guys have 5, 6, 7, plus 8 is 15. So there's 4 factors I have to satisfy there. So it's 1, 2, 3, and then, because there are no enemy units left in the area, the result is a rout. The other alternative is to just destroy one of Wright's units. I can destroy Ricketts, and it prevents the rout from happening. Tempting. Destroy unit, or I just worry if I leave one behind, they can just attack again. Nope, I'm going to destroy one. We'll take Rickard off, first Union casualty, so that right remains there, engaged, and early is then spent. So it's not a rout effect. So it's 1, 2, exhaust them, and it's 3 CP to. No, sorry, my mistake. 1, 2. So 1 to exhaust, 3 to eliminate a fresh unit. That's 4. Yeah, so we're going to keep the reduced unit there. But by not retreating, it prevents the rout, and thus early is exhausted and can't activate again. Union, keep in mind, Union still has the advantage. Okay, first Union activation, and straight away Warren wants to get at it, so he's going to take his and the lead unit and lead artillery are exhausted. So now Warren up here in Taylorsville is looking to come down south. They can either hit Ramseur's division alone in Wickham's Crossing with a defence rating of 3, or hit early here with a defence rating of 1. Do they need to use the defence rating? Yeah, I think they get the defence rating, but it's only 1. So it'd be, in effect, 4 plus 3, 7 versus 6, 7, 7. And it'd be really nice to do some damage to Early's core. Very tempting. Very tempting indeed. Because you only count fresh infantry participating. Exhausted units don't count in defence. Yeah, okay. So basically the defence factors of these two are the same. So Warren is going to do this. 1, there's no fresh artillery. 2, he's going to attack early. So right is not part of this combat. These are the guys active and attacking. We've got our point unit. In Lockwood, sure. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. 12, that's it, 12. Plus 11 is 23 versus, what did I say, 7, 6, 7, 8 for Lee, plus 9 is 17. What was the first result? 23, 17, I think. Was it 23? 12 plus 11, 23, yeah. So, success. They are both exhausted. And there are 6 CP to be resolved among these units. 6 CP. Okay. The forward unit must suffer the first loss. So they're going to suffer the first loss. 1. 2, 3, 4, and they need 2 more losses. And I don't think they can get away with not retreating. They could eliminate another unit, which would mean Warren be spent. Okay, they'll spend our artillery, so they stay in there. But Warren is pretty happy there. That was a nice counter attack into Ashland. And they're poised for this drive down towards Richmond. So, end of the Union pulse. The day continues. Confederate turn, and they are in trouble. Definitely have to get cavalry out of there. Or do they? No, they're going to entrench, I think. Now the Union Pulse. Now I'm just going to check the advantage rules, because there are three things you can do with the advantage counter. The Union has held the advantage. You can see it way down the bottom left here. They've held the advantage since the start of the game, and they can use this for three things: to change Lee's health from healthy to unhealthy, to rally any and all the leaders in a single area may be flipped to their active side. So I could rally, for example, Warren here, and he can immediately go on the attack. In fact, I've got a cunning plan. If this cavalry either has to, the road to Richmond is blocked only by this cavalry, so they either have to stand and fight or let the Union into Richmond. So I'm going to spend the advantage marker, unflip all these leaders, and then I'm going to activate. Oh wait, hold on. It's a contested area. I think you have to fight in that contested area. Okay, so it's interesting. So if the active area is contested, all, some, or none of the units starting in the area may assault before they begin moving. If the defenders suffer a rout, the assaulting units can continue moving. If they basically lose combat, they don't. So there's a good chance, I'd say, they'll win the combat here and can continue moving. It's unclear if they can then assault again though. Assaulting units may not. Okay, if any defending units remain, the impulse is over. I think they can assault again. So that, yeah. So what I could do is flip these over, assault early, hoping to win. They can then move out. It costs them one extra movement factor for fighting the battle. This is rule 10.3. It's a little bit tricky around here. This is contested area activation. But basically we start here, it's contested, we fight a battle. Once again we've got our lead unit in Griffin, so we've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know what? I'm activating Grant for this. So I've got both corps participating at the same time. First time it's been activated. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, minus 1 is 10. Actually, no, I'm not participating with Grant, not using Grant, I'm just going to use Warren, because there's no point in Wright participating, because it doesn't add anything. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, plus a die roll is 18 versus 4, 5, 6 for Lee, plus 5 is 11. So 7 factors is definitely going to force the elimination of that unit. It's a rout. Early can teleport to another unit of his corps, and these guys can spend 1 movement factor and keep moving. And the plan is to drive on Richmond, so they're going to move down here. The cavalry will screen. There's no artillery adjacent, so it's 1 for the movement combat. 2, 3, the cavalry's got to either fight here or let them into Richmond, so they'll stand and fight. And here we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, plus a die roll is 19 versus 2 plus 4 plus 1 for Lee is 7. 7 plus 9 is 16, so a loss factor of 3. Okay, A loss factor of 3. They could be eliminated basically to satisfy that. Oh no, wait, okay. Because they're in the Richmond defences, they lose 1 less CP. So it's actually a CP of 2, 1, 2 back to Richmond. But here's the thing, it's a rout, so these guys remain fresh. Yeah. And if things go well, they can be in Richmond by next turn. So let's see if there's a end of day. There's not. Confederate activation, and they need to get into Richmond. So the best way to do that, I think, is Anderson activating and pulling back. 1, 2. He's done. Bringing Lee with him, but Lee's not activating there. Yeah, it leaves the northern roads open, but what else can you do? Union turn. And Warren, who is still active, is... I'm sorry, there's also 2 victory points and more Union control markers all the way down this is it the Virginia Railroad? Central Virginia Railroad, I think. Oh no, sorry, this is the Virginia Central Railroad. This is the Richmond, Fredericksburg and Potomac Railroad. Okay, so another 2 victory points for the Union. I count this one, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, it's 6. I need 10 by the end of the game, but like I said, they're very close to Richmond. What would happen if they attached to Richmond? Okay, big Kershaw division here, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plus Lee's 11. It would be a close battle. Let's do it. Okay, I do have to worry about my re though, because there's a thin line down here. The other alternative is to capture the other sort of defensive position here. Now I do have this nice new core here. 1, 2, yeah, heck. 1, 2, 3. Oh wow, they can even get into Richmond straight in. Actually, it's 3, 4 into there. I'm sure there's artillery. Yep. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 plus a die roll. Look, let's do this. Another Union position captured. Another 2 victory points. Oh, another one here. So they are up to 9, sorry. Do they push into Richmond now? Now, if they don't, can they do it first of all? Does moving into an area with artillery count as +2? No, I don't think so. Into an area. Okay. I've been doing some movement points wrong. Enter an area containing a fresh enemy unit, 4 movement points. I haven't been doing that. So they'll stop there. I'll start applying that rule now. 7 day continues with a Union Confederate activation. And they've got to, what do? They can't get into, they can't get in here. Build entrenchments. There we go. Union activation and let's bring the cavalry. No, let's Bring this cavalry down. One, two, three. This is the Bethel Church. And daylight still going. So Confederate turn. See, if they pull back from here, they're just giving away two victory points and 2 victory points. We don't want to do that. They can't get through here. More entrenchments, I think. That's all they can do. Union turn. This has got to be their last turn. Okay. Still quite a few Union infantry divisions way up here. And scattering of Confederate divisions along the sort of supply route. Keep in mind there are now 2 supply routes, so these units can be supplied via this path here on the right. Okay, we've got Crittenden here and Russell here, who aren't doing a lot. Crittenden certainly can move down. He'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. And all this is really doing is, yeah, moving forces down. They could move 5. Part of Burnside's core down here. Alright, anyway, that's got to be the end of the turn, yep. Okay. So, Confederate forces can build entrenchments. They may as well entrench Fair Oaks. They get 1 replacement, and they can replace the cavalry. Don't have much else. They did lose a lot of units. Unions can entrench, and they will entrench here. No. Here. Can entrench in a 11.3 can entrench in an engaged area. An area containing a friendly unit. Yep. Okay, Foe went dead again. Basically, I don't know what happened, but Hancock was moving down to the south, chasing Hill. Burnside sent a division around here through Salvage Station and then 7 Pines for +3. So they're back onto 10 victory points. With a daylight time to go. So because I kept playing the game not realising the rules, but the victory conditions read that the Union wins an automatic victory if they have a fresh unit in Richmond at the end of the daylight phase of any game turn. The unit must be able to trace a path of friendly controlled areas, either Chesterfield Station or Old Church, to qualify. And they can do both, around this way and straight up the railroad to the north. So, I mean, this happened a while ago and I didn't realise, and I kept playing through to the end of the 3rd of June. But yeah, technically this is a Union victory because they have fresh units in Richmond at the end of a daylight turn. They have had for a while. So yeah, they just have to be healthy and in Richmond. They don't have to capture the whole town, which is what I was trying to do, and force the Confederates out, which is very difficult given the +3, +2, +1 for Lee and so forth. Yeah, look, it's a relatively easy system to play. There are some sort of rules quirks. Combat is pretty straightforward. I mean, 2.5 pages are dedicated to the combat rules, but I think they're fairly easy. Movement, the quirks of movement are probably the most difficult in terms of having to pay extra for moving adjacent to artillery, having to move extra to move into enemy controlled area, crossing a creek without using a bridge, all movement factors, entering an area containing only exhausted enemy units is 3. Those kind of things are really, that's why I really sort of got tripped up on by accident, not realizing the different costs. Um, what else? I didn't find many opportunities for the Union to have army activations. So, Grant was pretty quiet, way up in the north. I found that a lot of people have commented this, and I agree that the army boundaries are very hard to discern. Around here, this is a boundary, for example. It was hard to figure out. There's another sort of area. It was difficult to interpret the area boundaries on this. And I've noticed on Board Game Geek that somebody has done a revised version of the map where they've made really clear black lines and it looks really good. Open information, so it's a decent solo game, but I think it'd be much better as a two-player game. There is a sort of a sense of bluffing in this. Another thing I should point out is I've used this using the basic rules. There are a lot of advanced rules to sort of further complicate things, and then there are optional rules as well to sort of give you some variation. It seems to be a very replayable game. So many different sort of relatively small one map, but a lot of choices. You can go sort of historical, swing around to the right. You saw the double envelopment that I had here with a lot of these Confederate forces still in the center here. You could just drive down from the north. A lot of this depends on if Lee is sick or healthy early on, and what you want to do with your forces. So a lot of choices for you to make. And yeah, it plays very quickly. It's fun. Easy to teach, I'd imagine. Again, only playing solo, I've only taught myself, but I imagine this would be very easy to teach somebody else to play. You could sit down, play it in an evening. Not too difficult. So that is Michael Rinella's Not War But Murder, which was published in Against the Odds in 2007.